The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. Hey Darren. All right, people are rolling in. We're going to give it another 30 seconds to a minute just to let everybody get in, and then we'll jump into the lunch and learn. Dan, did you guys get any impact from the Cloudflare outage? I know I lost my AI helper for the first 3 hours of the day, my AI assistant. So I was like, hey, I don't know what to do with myself. I couldn't get into ChatGPT or any of our AI platforms.
Yeah, lucky enough, it was early enough in the morning Pacific time. It didn't affect us as much as it did you guys over in Eastern time.
Yeah, I guess it was up probably 11:30 my time, on the East Coast. Okay. All right. Looks like we got a good turnout. I think we'll jump into it, Darren. The lunch and learn today is called AI 101 for your business. The big focus today is how you can boost productivity, reduce risks by embracing AI securely and effectively. Really excited to jump into it. I hope you guys take away a lot from this. You learn a lot. Hopefully we can teach you something new today. This is hosted by Breach Secure Now, as well as Coleman Technologies. We'll do some introduction. We'll do some housekeeping so you guys know who we are, why we're here today, and then we'll jump right into it. My name is Chris Gross. I'm the Senior AI Product Director at Breach Secure Now. Lindsay Hayes, our AI Solution Strategist, was supposed to join us today. She actually had a little emergency that she was unable to join. We are here with Darren Coleman with Coleman Technologies. And Darren, thank you so much for having myself on the call today and letting us talk to your audience here.
Thanks, Chris. Excited to have you walk us through how AI is already showing up in businesses today. We had a lot of interest in this webinar. I just want my people here to understand how to use it safely in a way that really boosts productivity, because we already know it's in their business. And I think most people are here because they want to make sure they're using it safely, securely, and I think they want to save their team time.
Yeah, it's definitely the hot topic. Everybody is already hearing about it, using it, but what's actually the right step to do it? So we're going to jump into it today and talk about what those right steps are. Darren, I will take the lead. You jump in at any time. One housekeeping item that I want to mention, if you guys have any questions at all, please put that in the questions panel in GoToWebinar. We're going to try to hit on all questions at the end. Darren, if you see something that's immediately pressing, feel free to interrupt me and throw that question out there. But we will definitely have plenty of time to answer questions. Probably about 30 minutes of content. So 10, 15 minutes we'll spend just answering questions. All right. With that, let's jump into it. Okay. So first thing I'd like you all to do is I'd like to do a little bit of a thought experiment. I'd like you to imagine that you had 4 extra hours a week, or imagine that you were able to get all the work that you currently get done every single week 4 hours quicker. What would you do with those 4 hours? What would you be able to do as an individual in terms of doing maybe training or strategy that you weren't able to do before? What kind of collaboration could you get done if not only that you had 4 hours a week back, but you also had all of your coworkers and employees have 4 hours a week back? What would you be able to do as a team? What kind of strategies would you be able to do that you just haven't been able to get to today? That's the kind of potential that we're looking to unlock with AI. We're not talking about replacing potential. We're talking about unlocking potential with the greatest asset that is in your organization today. I think you'd all agree that greatest asset really is the people. Some of the people in your organization have spent years becoming experts at specifically what you do. We want to make sure that we can utilize technology to help unlock those people's potential to do things better, faster, more effectively. That's the kind of output that we're looking to achieve with AI. And that's really where our conversation is going to go today. We're obviously going to balance that with some of the risk conversation around what's the risk and how can you use these tools wisely as well as effectively. But this is really the goal that we're looking for here, is at a minimum 4 hours a week There's going to be some use cases that we share with you that save a lot more than this, that allow you to do things you weren't able to do before. But this is at a minimum the value that we're looking to provide to you guys. Before we jump into how you can actually go and achieve some of that value, I want to give you a little background on my company, Breach Secure Now, why we're here talking to you today. For 10 years now, over 10 years, Breach Secure Now have been leaders in employee training. We are educating on technology and how to use that technology securely and effectively. We started as a security awareness training company, focused a lot on how can you use technology safely, but we've expanded our business into AI awareness and productivity training, educating people on how to adopt this new technology. And again, with security in mind, also how can we get ROI on these tools that we're spending money on? How can we create better business outcomes? We're focused on people. So job satisfaction is something that we want to increase here, not only making the biggest asset in your organization better and helping you all achieve more, but we also want to make sure that you guys are happy doing it. People is the biggest part of our business. Technology alone is pretty useless in an organization. You can't just throw tech at a problem. You really need people, process, and technology to work together. And that's exactly what we do here at BSN, always with, again, security in mind and bridging that gap, especially with new technologies like AI. We have protected over 35,000 businesses and over 1 million employees over that 10-year span. So really looking forward to helping you all today and join the numbers of people that we have been able to help out. That's the housekeeping, guys. That's the intro. Let's jump into it, specifically on what we have in store for you guys today. We're going to jump into first risks, and Darren mentioned this before. We want to make sure that you guys are using these tools securely as well as effectively. So we'll talk about some of the risks and misconceptions around AI. We're going to simplify the conversation when it comes to what do we mean by AI? It's a big buzzword out there. I'm sure you guys are hearing it all the time. What is actually going to be the first step into AI for you guys? What do we mean by using AI effectively? We'll distill some of the overload that you guys are hearing today. And then a big portion today is with some practical applications. We want you guys to be able to walk away from this call and be able to use some AI securely, but in a practical way. So we'll give you a couple of examples of how we use AI at Breach Secure Now and what you guys can start doing today with the secure application. And then the next step is really how Coleman Technologies and partnership with Breach Secure Now can help you guys take the next steps in your journey to adopt this technology securely and effectively. And again, we'll have some time for Q&A at the end too. So jumping right into the risks here, let's talk about how we can balance all of the productivity promises and that thought experiment that I was talking about before. Let's balance that with also what are some of the risks of AI and what do we need to know about as we jump into this journey of AI. There's two sides of the coin that we think about at BSN, Breach Secure Now, when we talk about AI risks. The first side of that coin is how employees in your business are using this technology today. And the second side of that are how are the cyber criminals actually using this technology. Let's jump into the first example here of AI risk. And this is how are employees in your organization using these tools today and possibly how you guys are using these tools today. There's a stat up here where 90% of employees are regularly using some personal AI tools for work. But companies only have, probably 40% of companies only have some kind of official subscription and safe solution for them to actually use in their business. This is a stat from the beginning of the year. I'm sure these numbers have increased by now. Something like ChatGPT is the fastest growing organization in history. And one of the reasons why is people get a lot of value from these tools. So that's not inherently bad that people are getting value from these tools. But one of the issues is if you have employees that are using personal tools, these free solutions, unapproved business tools, that could be a major risk to your organization and to yourself. If you're using one of these free tools, even some of the most popular tools like a ChatGPT or a Gemini, you're using these tools and you're putting in company IP, client information, anything that could be sensitive that you wouldn't want exposed, if you're putting that into a free tool, you are putting that information at risk. Any of these free tools are actually going to be training on the information that you put into it. This is with any free platform that you use. If it's free, it means that you most likely are the product. So it's taking any information that you put into it, it's training the algorithm, training the model, as we call it. And what that means is that a cyber criminal or anybody could go and with the right queries, actually get that information out of the model, and that could get exposed. So there's huge risks if you have people in your business that are using their own personal tools or free tools that don't have the security in place to protect your data. This is one big risk, probably one of the biggest risks of AI use in companies today. We call it shadow AI. It basically is AI being used in the dark. You're not giving your employees a correct solution or a proper solution, and they're bringing their own tools to work. Again, there's nothing inherently bad with them using AI. They probably are finding great value in it, and they're getting some of the productivity gains that we're going to talk about today. But if they're putting in any sensitive information, that could be getting compromised. That's one piece of risk, probably the biggest piece of risk of employees using these tools. The other side of that, with the employees or you using these tools, the organization, if somebody's using these tools without being trained on how to use them properly, there's potential that they are not using them correctly, that they potentially will ask AI a question. And one of the biggest issues with AI is that sometimes these tools will hallucinate. And what that means is it's going to give you an answer back extremely confidently that is completely wrong. So human verification and keeping a human in the loop is super important. But somebody that's using these tools for the first time might not know how to properly verify and how to take those next steps. So that is a really important piece of risk that we want to make sure that people are aware of as they start using these tools. That's one side of the coin here, guys, how you are using these tools today or how other employees in your organization are using these tools. The other side of the coin for risk of a business when it comes to AI is how cyber criminals are using these tools. If it's making my job easier and it's making me more effective and I can do work faster, cyber criminals are getting the same benefits. And we have seen a huge increase in phishing attacks. And not only the ability for cyber criminals to do more phishing attacks, the level of sophistication of those phishing attacks. One example that we always fall back on at BSN, we used to always educate on phishing emails and looking for grammatical errors in phishing emails, spelling mistakes, grammatical errors. We really don't educate on that anymore. And one of the major reasons why we don't educate on that is because cyber criminals almost always will use a platform like ChatGPT, like Gemini, like Copilot. They'll use that platform to make that email they're going to send out have almost perfect grammatical correctness. They're going to have no spelling mistakes. On top of that, they can use those tools to do research about you specifically and be able to target information about you that maybe they couldn't even find before. These are extremely sophisticated attacks that are very easy to be fooled by. So educating your staff on these new capabilities is really important as well. Beyond just the normal phishing email that gets sent out, all types of new abilities for these cyber criminals to do social engineering and scams against people. For example, you guys have seen any of the recent AI videos that have been created. I'm sure you have. If you're on any social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of these, you're going to see the sophistication of these AI videos. Those are now being used in impersonation attempts as well as voice cloning. That technology has gotten drastically better in the last 6 months. 6 months from now and a year from now, it's going to be 10, 20, 100 times better than it is now. Those are going to be used in the same types of attacks. These are the risks that we talk about when it comes to AI. You need to make sure that there's awareness in your organization on how to use these tools safely. People are going to use them. You got to provide them with safe solutions in order for them to do that safely. Even if you don't have anybody in your organization using these tools today, they're still at risk for cyber criminals using these tools because they might not know about the full capabilities of what these tools provide today. So we want to make sure that education is happening on these risks. This is one of the most important first steps here. Again, today is mostly focused on opportunity here, how we can get efficiency, but we got to always start off with risk because these are real risks that can be mitigated, but we want to make sure that we start off and give you guys the correct info to be successful there. A couple misconceptions as well, with AI, there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That FUD is created because people really don't understand, what the first steps of using this technology are. They hear things in the media. They're not exactly sure on what my benefits of using these tools are. There's some conversations out there, it's going to replace employees. It's going to dull creativity. Our goal is to help you guys empower, again, the biggest resource in your organization by not replacing employees, but by empowering those employees to do more work. And then what we have been able to see is that if you can free up some of the redundant tasks that those people have, they do have more time to be more creative, to go focus on higher value initiatives. If you can do this, this is going to be a massive differentiator for your business. And if you can do this today, it's going to be even more so a differentiator because there's probably a good chance that a lot of your competitors are not doing this. So how do we get started? What do we actually mean by using AI? What we're talking about here is not automation. We're not talking about advanced AI implementations. We're talking about utilizing generative AI, some of the basic tools that are out there, like ChatGPT, like Copilot, like Gemini. These are probably tools that you guys have heard of before. These are basic chat bots and assistants that you guys can use and get massive value for as individuals. Again, we're talking about people utilizing these tools. The way that we like to talk about this and an acronym we like to use is this is your AI personal assistant or a personal intern. I mentioned before about hallucinations, and sometimes these tools are not always correct. Treating it like an intern is really a good way to go. An intern, if you were to hire an intern, they can really help you with repetitive tasks. They can help you free up time, but you're most likely going to check their work. AI is like that, but it has access to a ton of knowledge. So you can use this to help you guys do things you couldn't do before, maybe because you didn't have enough time, maybe because you didn't have the resource to do it or the knowledge to do it. AI can be that for you, but you still want to make sure you're checking its work. If you can use AI like a personal assistant or your own personal intern, there can be huge time savings that you get from it. Again, I talked about 4 hours a week would be a great baseline for you to start off with. But I know myself, I can save hundreds of hours a month with tasks that I've been able to offload to AI. And not only is it the time savings, but it's also the ability for me to be able to do things that I wasn't able to do before. We're going to jump into some real life use cases right now and show you guys some ways that you can start using this in your own business by showing you some ways that we're using it at Breach Secure now. These are just 3 examples of the thousands of examples that are out there on how you can actually leverage this technology. So let's jump into it. Let's show you guys a couple of real examples. These are examples that we use at Breach Secure now, we have used in the past. Some of our partners like Coleman Technologies, some of the other partners that we work with, and our clients are using these use cases as well. And these are just a few of things that you guys can do with technology like this. What we're trying to do is just spark some imagination in your minds of what are things that you can do in your own business. You can use any of the most common AI tools for this. You can use Copilot, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude Anthropic, Perplexity. Almost all of these have a feature called Researcher or Deep Research within their platform. What that allows you to do is you can search the internet and you can search multiple different sources automatically just by prompting the AI. Those help you answer questions that help you do research into a topic. So with us in the past, we used to do regular marketing competitive analysis. This marketing competitive analysis, we would outsource. It would cost us somewhere around $5,000 to $15,000 to get some basic marketing competitive analysis. This can cost a lot more. If you've done it in your organization, you probably know that. If you have somebody on staff that's doing this, this could take weeks to do successfully. There's so much data out there when it comes to a market, the depending on what market you're in, we're going to show you how you can do this within just an hour's time, including verification of the results that you guys get. So let's jump in to show you guys how we actually do this. The first thing that I always recommend when we talk about prompting an AI or using AI is I always ask the AI, how can I ask you the question better? I call this prompting for better results. So in this use case, I put into the chatbot, if you've ever used ChatGPT or Copilot, there's a text box that you can put in your questions to. And what I first asked it is I said, please help me create the below into a better prompt for deep research. That's me asking it, help me conduct a competitive analysis to competitors in breach secure analysis market who offer employee awareness training, security awareness training, AI training, and productivity training. What I got back was a prompt that I can now copy and paste if I like the structure of what it's asking for. So I took this, I just copy and paste this right back into ChatGPT, and this is giving me an entire structure of how I want that information. I put on the feature researcher. You can use that. It's called Deep Research in Perplexity and Gemini and ChatGPT. Is the example you see here. Now, when I run this, it takes around 10 to 15 minutes to do an analysis like this. It's going to do all the searching for you. This is the result that comes back. And this is some overview of what that output is. So the topic is employee awareness training market, security, AI, generative AI, productivity. It's going to focus on MSP buyers and SMBs. That's kind of our focus as well at Breach Secure Now. Lists out our key players in the market. This is a 25-page report, so it's pretty extensive. It goes over 40 credible citations, so 40 credible sources that were updated within the last 24 months. You have in there executive summary. It's going to give us an overview of the competitive landscape, pricing information, so we understand how our products are priced compared to our partners. It'll give us some positioning, the top 5 competitors and a SWOT analysis of them, and then some actual recommendations from the AI of things that we can do to differentiate ourselves. Now, as always, like I said, this takes about 15 minutes to generate. Probably took a minute for me to actually create the prompt and to enter it in. I would spend probably a half hour, 45 minutes reviewing sources and really ensuring that everything is accurate within there. But within an hour, I'm able to get a really good overview of my market, of what other competitors are doing on market, and insights that I probably didn't have before. Me going through 40 sources, finding those sources for one, but then reviewing all those sources and then putting all that information together would have taken weeks. Possibly, I wouldn't have even known where some of those sources were. So this is not only something that saved me a ton of time, but it was something that also saved our company or allowed our company to do something that we really couldn't do before without outsourcing it. The next example here is sales prospect research. And this is something that we do more regularly, a process that we have at Breach Secure Now that you guys might have in your own organizations as well. Anytime we're going to go talk to a new client or prospect, we always make sure that we have some information about their company. We want to make sure we understand our customer, potential customer, before we go and talk to them. With, again, Deep Researcher and any of these common AI tools, Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, we're able to do sales prospect research so much easily, so much faster, much more effectively than we ever were before. This is information we would normally look up when I talk to my sales team. They would take about 30 minutes every single time to go and look up who are key decision makers in that business, what's the size of their business. They go look on multiple sites like the website, LinkedIn. This would take them, if they were going to do it well, 20 to 30 minutes. They didn't always have 20 to 30 minutes before every single call that they would get on. So sometimes this wasn't being done as effectively as it should have been. With AI, we're able to do this every single time now. We're able to do this in the beginning of the day for all of our calls. And it takes about 5 minutes for the AI to generate it. And it's extremely easy to read paper for every single one of our sales reps to be able to consume before that call. So let me show you how we did this one. Again, I started off with prompting for better results. I asked the AI, help me create a better prompt for deep research on sales prospect before I go to talk to them. I'd like to get an overview of their company, their leadership and decision makers, recent news, as well as synergies with my company and anything else that could be helpful. This is what it came back with, is placeholders on where I can put the company name, industry, primary contact, give me all this information. And then I went back in and I put in the company name, industry, primary contact that I already had. I turned on Deep Researcher and I got back a brief of that prospect I was about to go talk to. 2 pages. This is what we actually asked it within the prompt. We said, hey, please make it easily consumable. So it gave me 2 pages with 15 credible, up-to-date resources. This one took about 2 to 3 minutes for it to actually do the research. But now I can go into that sales conversation with a business focus, the mission of that company, what's its size in terms of how many employees it has, maybe the revenue size, who are the key decision makers? Am I talking to the decision maker today? Or maybe I'm talking to somebody else in the organization who needs to connect me with that decision maker. It'll give me recent news as well as what's the current stack that they're selling. Are they currently selling security awareness training? Does that mean they have a competitor that we will have to talk to them about? I know that ahead of time now, and I can be able to compare Breach Secure Now correctly to that competitor. So these key insights and talking points, this is something that you guys might use today. This might be a process that you do when you're talking to a customer or a client. This is extremely impactful. Like I said, not only does this save time and hours that our sales team was doing this before, but there's potential that our sales team didn't have enough time to do this at all before. And this is actually creating better quality conversations that just weren't happening. Those 2 examples, those are both research examples. And AI is really good at helping you with research. It can search the internet and really help you find key insights. But the other thing that AI is really good at is content generation. Some of you guys might already use this for content generation, like creating images. Maybe you are using it just for writing emails or even blogs, anything like that. Our marketing team uses AI all the time for content creation. In this example here, we used it to help with a webinar that we were actually putting on. So in this example, we asked it to just help us create the title slide for a webinar that we were calling Get a Grip on Artificial Intelligence. What I was able to do here is put in my logo, and now I was able to put in our brand guidelines, and it came back with some awesome images that we could use on the title slide for a webinar. You could then take these, put them into the AI and say, please create me an infographic, please create me some other resources around this, create me the rest of the deck. Content generation is one of the best things that AI can do for you. Our team at Breach Secure Now, our marketing team, will create a blog. They'll go and take that and create that into an infographic using our branding. They'll create that into a slide deck. It's a really great way for you to, if you don't have the marketing resources in your company today, it's a great way for you guys to be able to build out these resources. If you guys do have these content creators in your company, it's a great way to help them be faster, maybe to up level their work and help them do things that they might not have been able to do before, or things that took them a long time. They can do those a little bit quicker now. So these are 3 examples, guys, of things that you can use AI for in your own organization. We wanted to give you guys some practical examples just to get your mind running on things that you can use AI for. I mentioned that the people using those examples were salespeople and marketers. They were not the technical people in our organization. While we are a tech company, we're a small business. We have about 90 employees. And any of our sales and marketing people, they're not techies, they're not coders or anything like that. These are non-technical people in our business that are getting massive productivity gains from this technology. For marketers, we see around 5 hours at least per week saved on marketers for all the content creation that they're doing. And not only is this saving them time, but like I said, this is also improving quality of work. When we have people saving time, improving quality of work, making them better at their job, but it's also freeing up time for them to do more high impact work, which helps increase job satisfaction. That's one of the best things that we can deliver when we have people engaging with AI, is let's actually make the best resource in your organization, the people, happier, with, again, employee satisfaction is one of the goals that we're looking for here with AI that we're actually seeing as an outcome when people are using these tools successfully. If you can implement AI not only effectively, but securely, you can minimize the risk of security breaches, eliminate that shadow AI, actually put a secure solution in their hands. That's going to help minimize that risk so much more. And then productivity gains throughout the entire organization. Again, going back to that thought experiment, what can we do by saving 4 hours a week for every single employee? That's what we want you guys to get out of this. And there's so much that you'll be able to do when you unlock that. So the question is, how do we actually do this? What is the step to use AI securely and effectively? We've created an entire strategy based on our 3-year journey to become an AI first company. We've created an AI adoption strategy that is not only being used by Breach Secure now, but we have plenty of our partners, such as Coleman Technologies, and our clients using the strategy now to implement effective and secure AI use in their business. One of the most important pieces here is secure AI provisioning. Make sure you're getting a tool that's with a paid license. It can be ChatGPT, Copilot, or Gemini, but it needs to be paid license. And the reason why is those are the only ones that are going to support protecting your data. You should have policies in place as well to make sure you're outlining the do's and don'ts of utilizing this technology. You want to set clear expectations that, yes, you can use AI, but you need to use this AI tool. This will help you eliminate that shadow AI in your business. And the next step, and probably the most important one, is ongoing AI awareness training. Initial training to make sure that all of your employees understand what the risk is, make sure that you understand what the risk is and what secure use of these tools are, but also ongoing training for effective use of these tools. These tools are constantly changing. There's new features popping up all the time. This isn't the old days of software where it takes months for a new feature to come out. We see new features on almost a daily basis across this tool set. If you can go and learn what those new features are, not only what the new feature is, but what are the use cases on how you can use those to get more productivity gains, that's going to help you get ROI on this spend for any of the AI tools that you have in your business. And we do plenty of ongoing AI enablement in our business too. We recommend leveraging things like Prompt Library. We do use case sharing sessions to actually share information across our company on how we're adopting AI, on what's a new use case in our marketing team or in our sales team. Something we always recommend at BSN is incentivize creating new use cases, actually give people prizes. We do an innovation challenge on a monthly basis where we actually will give out prizes to people that submit new use cases on a monthly basis based on how good the use case is. We'll give out first, second, and third place prizes. And then you have a huge repository that you can then use later on to share with other parts of the organization on how people are using these tools, on where we can build more efficiencies. This process is something that you guys can start very easily in your business. If you guys are interested in starting that business, we have an entire platform at Breach Secure now that can help you facilitate this, called our Breach Prevention and Productivity Platform. If you guys are interested in getting ongoing training, AI acceptable use policy, the AI adoption enablement, and really taking the next steps for AI adoption, please contact Darren with Coleman Technologies. They're going to be able to help you out with everything that you guys need to take those first steps and start realizing some of the benefits that we talked about today and to start mitigating those risks in your business. Guys, that's all I had for you today. I know we're getting a couple questions in the chat. We can pull those up, and Darren, I'll try to pull you back into here and we can answer some questions.
The first question, Scott was asking, he's got a team of 12, and he's wondering how much money he should commit to training. And I'll give you my thoughts first, and then maybe you have some comments as well. Really, I think with the AI training that we're talking about here, 3 to 5 minutes per week per employee, an hour a month of training. Budget-wise, what would you say, a couple $100 a month for the whole team? It's a pretty light lift. What do you think?
That's probably about spot on there. Yeah, a couple $100 per month. But you're also, when you say that, specifically for training, you're also talking about time that you take out for with that amount of money, you can take out some time just to do some basic use case sharing sessions, the innovation challenge I was talking about should cover all of that.
There was another question. It was in regards to slide 2 or 3 about automation buying 23 days vacation. That stat was referring to using the AI powered automation, right? Saving each employee 1 to 2 hours today by using Copilot or ChatGPT. And then you were saying over a year, it would be equivalent to saving 23 working days. Is that the numbers that you came up with?
Yeah, so this is where we pulled one of the stats from in the beginning that just talking about how many hours a day can we save. Honestly, I don't love when the article that we got it from, good article. I think that the study of how many hours you can save came from a MIT study. And that article just was putting it into, hey, this is how much time over a year you can spend. How we always like to imagine it is those 23 days saved, what can you go and do with them, right? What is the more efficiency you can get from that? It's not only referring to people using AI, sometimes that's also referring to automation on top of that. That's one of the next steps in this, Darren, and we've talked about this a little bit before. Once you have people utilizing these AI tools and actually starting to identify what are ways that I can put AI into my own day-to-day workflow, you can then look at what are some ways that we can automate that further. Is there more that we can do to help that individual save time through automating that prompt or automating that process? So yeah, there's definitely more opportunity to save even more time over the year.
Sure. These are stats and happy to share the article after the webinar. But it doesn't look like there's many more questions here. So I guess we covered everything really well, or people just don't want to ask questions. Either way, I think if something comes to mind later, feel free to reach out to me. Always happy to have that one-on-one conversation, really just to figure out how AI fits safely. And really, we can help bring some clarity. I know there's a lot more people on here, so I'm sure there's a lot more questions. Send me an email, darren@coleman.biz, and connect with me after. I think we got a couple more coming in here, Chris.
Yeah. I can read out this first one if you'd like, Darren. Any cost benefit analysis of Gen AI adoption in SMEs, trying to understand how to quantify the impact for executive decisions because qualitative benefits are tough to sell. Yeah, that is definitely true when it comes to selling any kind of technology adoption. Is how do we actually get the cost benefit? How do we do the ROI calculation on it? So one of the ways that we really recommend identifying ROI in a business, some are quantifiable, some are not. One of the ways that we recommend it, and I mentioned this before, when it comes to AI adoption enablement, a couple things that we do regularly at BSN is use case sharing sessions, and then we do an incentive program to collect the use cases in the business. So we have a Teams channel, it's just a form within a Teams channel that people fill out every month. They'll put in new use cases, how much time they saved, and beyond just time, what were the other benefits? Are they able to increase customer satisfaction? Were they able to do things they weren't able to do before? Time savings, when they go and list those time savings are easy to quantify. You can say, hey, you're saving 4 hours per week, right? Over that period of time for an entire month. Does that equal a full employee after you keep getting these use cases submitted, right? In use case sharing sessions, we're also presenting a new use case on a monthly basis that is going to still relate to, is it saving you time? The non-quantifiable things too, is it allowing you to do something better than you were able to do before? So all of these are good examples on ROI. Some are tangible when it comes to time savings. Some maybe not as tangible when it comes to increased quality of work and things like that. But it's just a example of the ROI that you guys can present.
With the generative AI, like we're looking at time saving per employee.
Yeah, that's where a lot of it is. But also, Dan, like that's the quantifiable piece. It's much harder to quantify quality of work, things that you couldn't do before, right? Allowing you to do, it's not only, hey, saving me time, but it's allowing me to do something that I simply didn't have the time to do before, or I wasn't doing because it was hard.
Could you go over the research function again? I guess in part of the slide, we're talking about simply using AI to pull the information together that would normally take hours. I think that was part of one of the slide decks. And you were talking about giving it a clear prompt.
So the function that we use, you'll see this in Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini. It's called Deep Research or Researcher. What's great about AI is if you search deep, hey, help me use Deep Researcher, it'll give you the exact instructions of how to do that within that platform. It is just a tool that you guys can use to go search the web, do deeper research on a specific topic within those AI tools. Very easy to use. In ChatGPT, there's like a tool button that you guys can select that from. Very easy to find that one.
So it looks like the chat is getting a little bit busier now. And one of the questions was regarding an AI policy. And I know that's something that BSN provides. And so, yes, absolutely, we can provide a basic AI policy. It will outline what data can be shared, what tools are improved. We can put the security and rules in place for the team. So definitely, we can send you out a template for that after. And if you want to dig into a little bit deeper and have us customize it, we can do that as well.
Awesome.
Okay. Just check the next question here. So when using deep research mode, what types of resources have you found that the app uses to provide you with output reports? Have they been credible? So when you were showing the deep research mode, it doesn't just scrape internet results, right? It pulls from credible public sources like industry reports. Can you comment on that a little bit further?
Yeah, so this is going to be a variety of different sources, anything from sources that we would use all the time in this, like LinkedIn, like the website for sales prospect research, the website of the prospect that we're looking at, for competitive analysis, the websites of the individuals, but also popular industry forums, popular industry news sites and things like that. That is what it'll pull from. We also see on there sometimes there's examples of things like just forums out there. Like we've seen Reddit posts out there actually be referenced in it, which again, you got to verify these sources, but that's actually really credible information sometimes when you're looking up, especially in like a tech community, information and reviews on specific organizations can be credible information. So it's very helpful that it's searching not only the most common ones like website and LinkedIn, it's also searching some of the forums that you might not have thought of as well.
Good. Okay, so the next question was, I guess, more of an opinion on your thoughts of quality on the Excel models that AI applications can provide. Would you suggest a certain app over another? And I know AI can produce surprisingly good Excel models, right, for summaries and forecasting. And I know Copilot is a tool that a lot of us have access to. Just want to give your thoughts on that.
Copilot's a great way that you can utilize the AI right in Excel, which is pretty great. All of them have very different capabilities when it comes to help me create certain formulas, help me create different graphics. A lot of them will have the modeling to create graphs and things like that right in the tool itself. But Copilot is an awesome option to be able to do that right in Excel, especially if you already have the document right in Excel. If you have Copilot enabled, you can use that right there and then. So that's a good one.
Okay. Here's another one that's a little closer to me in the day-to-day is how do you see AI impacting the cybersecurity evolution? And I'll give you my opinion first, and then you might have, from a training perspective, you might have a slightly different one. I think it's accelerating both sides of cybersecurity, right? Attackers are using it to create more convincing phishing emails, automated attacks. The attacks are moving much faster. Us, the defenders, we're using the tools as well. Real-time threat detection. We're able to analyze those logs way faster. So I think it's pushing cybersecurity to a more proactive and predictive instead of reactive.
Dan, I can speak mainly from the people side of it, what we see on what are people targets. I think you're absolutely right. It's helping us protect a lot because we can predict some of what's coming. But when it comes to the attacks against individuals and social engineering, these are becoming so sophisticated. It is so hard to tell the difference. Darren, I could get an email from you, or I could get a call from you that the voice sounds like you now. I could get on a video call on Teams and it looks like you and sounds like you. It's so convincing and it's so hard to be able to detect those. That's difficult today. I can only imagine what it's going to be like a year from now. So I think that on that side of it, education on that these scams exist and building out processes and policies to double verify no matter what, hear, smell, right? Make sure you are double verifying that who you're talking to, that what you're seeing in email is from that legitimate source. So those kind of challenges, I think, are going to be tough in the future, but education helps with that. And then good processes and good security state in general is going to help protect people against this.
Yeah, I agree with the education. And a lot of times now we're helping our partners fill in cybersecurity forms. And that's one of the questions. What are you doing to train your employees? And so I think they're doing that for cybersecurity, but at some point they may be even asking in regards to AI as well.
Yeah. And I think it's just like how they used to just ask the general question, are you training your employees? And then they start asking, are you doing phishing training? Are you doing this type of training? I think specific AI and social engineering with these kinds of tools will be something we see on those forums in the future.
So before we wrap it up, I don't see any more questions here, but I just want to leave an important takeaway that AI isn't something that they're going to start using someday, right? It's already inside your organization through your employees, through the tools, through the workflow. And the real risk isn't using AI. It's using it without the visibility, the governance, and the guardrails. So if you want clarity on what's happening inside your environment, what's safe to adopt, where the real productivity gains are, and what the next step is, I know through our partnership with BSN, we're offering a AI readiness assessment. Maybe just before we close up, you could explain the readiness assessment a little bit. If there's interest, we can reach out and get people going.
Yeah, absolutely. Our AI readiness assessment is a great place to start off for you to get an outlook of kind of where is your business in terms of the benefits that AI can produce for it. It's going to give you a rating. It's going to actually ask you questions first. It's very quick. It takes about 10 minutes to fill out. We'll ask you questions about various pieces of your business, marketing, if you're doing competitive analysis, what your sales team looks like, what processes you have in your operations team. At the end of that, we're going to give you back a score that's going to identify where some of these productivity gains could happen, and also some more use cases similar to the ones I provided today. So it's a really good place just to trigger some ideas of where you guys can get started. I highly recommend it as a place to kind of identify, are there going to be massive returns immediately for me? Should I get started now? It's a good way for you guys to discover some of that.
Okay. I don't think we have any other questions, so let's wrap it up.
Awesome. Darren, thank you so much for having me here today, and appreciate everybody for joining. It was
Thanks so much.
good. All right. Thanks. Have a good one, everyone.